Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening everyone. As we go to air tonight, the state's fire crews are battling to control hundreds of hectares of bushfires burning across Tasmania. Near Myena last night, the fires claimed their first property, a wilderness retreat, which had been evacuated only hours before. And while today's cooler conditions did aid crews, they're now preparing for Friday, predicted to be the worst day of the bushfire season so far.
Claimed by the cruel conditions overnight, the Skittleball Plains homestead was razed by the Great Pine Tier fire. Its owners tried to protect it, but as the danger zone reached their doorstep, the pair was evacuated down the property's only access road.
It's in a fairly isolated area.
The retreat is a victim of the violent blazes dotting the Central Highlands. Today, conditions were calmer, but crews were left with a desolate and smoky landscape to prepare for what's to come. Back-burning operations were widespread, but the terrain continues to cause issues.
Vegetation is quite volatile and it flares up, and this is one of the problems we're facing.
Many locals in Myena have left, but some are choosing to stay.
I've been smart, but don't feel as though there's any need to rush about the fires. It's a fair way away, but a different story if there's a 30 or 40 knot breeze coming in behind it.
And the houses and vegetation in the line of fire are receiving an extra shield. In these conditions, this protective foam which they've applied to this house will remain on for most of the day, and it'll protect the house from the worst of the fire front, which is approaching from the other side of the hill. But the biggest danger is still to come. Firefighters are bracing for a volatile concoction of temperatures up to 40 degrees and strong winds on Friday. And we're leading into it with 27 fires which are still actively going.
To give you some indication of the difficulties we're up against, there's 720 kilometres of fire line.
A total fire ban comes into effect from tomorrow as we head into an anxious time for those at the coalface of the crisis. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Fire crews continued working on the blaze at the Terhune Airwalk today. It's been downgraded from emergency alert yesterday to advice. Crews are working to save infrastructure at the forest tourism icon, including the Huon Pine Walk. Fire has burnt through approximately 1,000 hectares, but so far the Airwalk and its facilities have been protected. Ahead of the worsening fire conditions, more help is arriving tonight to join Tasmanian firefighters battling blazes across the state. Our reporter Louise Hedger joins us now live from Hobart Airport. Louise, good evening. Who are the special arrivals there?
Joe, just in the last hour, a 21-strong contingent has arrived here at Hobart Airport. They've come all the way from New Zealand. They're called arduous firefighters for the work that they do on fires in remote areas. This crew is highly specialised to work in extremely tough and strenuous conditions. They'll be dropped in by helicopter to work on incidents like the Gell River blaze and several in the Mount Anne area. Now, there is quite a concern tonight for those fires and the impact that they might have on some truly special parts of our state's ancient ecosystems. Joe, our reporter Michael Breen has more.
Fire consumes more of Tasmania's wilderness. This blaze around the Anne River to the south of Mount Anne. Where firefighting efforts struggle in this terrain, flames make their own path. Authorities have been forced to pull out remote teams out of fear they could be stranded if helicopters can't access them.
Unfortunately, at the moment, they've been a bit hampered by the weather. Low cloud in the area has pushed the smoke from that fire down to ground level and they're unable to get in. But at the moment, they're sitting there ready to go as soon as the smoke will allow them.
This is what could be under threat. Spectacular scenes captured by some of Tasmania's adventurous photographers.
So this is, a very small pocket. It's very rare to get this sort of forest.
Unlike other native bush, this alpine vegetation is sensitive to fires. Photographers say the pristine wilderness is a relic of the Ice Age.
We were all very alarmed. This is one of the finest mountain and rainforest landscapes in Tasmania.
In the efforts to save it, authorities are looking to deploy fire retardant from the air. And if crews can get on the ground, they'll deploy sprinkler systems like those that saved sensitive parts of Lake Rona.
It's the same as all the other fires, subject to the change in weather conditions, and obviously they're going to be at their worst on Friday. We're planning for the worst.
In the face of soaring fire danger, the start of the Australia Day long weekend could see some parks closed.
It's still a little bit fluid at this point. Those areas that you would traditionally expect, like the East Coast reserves, look like they'll be okay. But we may need to close certain sections of Lake St Clair National Park.
But apart from the immediate threat of fires, wilderness advocates say the long-term threat for these regions is increasing.
We see very clearly it's a product of climate change, and this is the tragedy. We've got shifting goalposts. Prior to the year 2000, dry lightning strikes in Tasmania were very, very rare.
A special part of Tasmania that could be lost for good. Michael Breen, 7 Tasmania News.
Now to the day's other news, and drivers of the state's new fleet of locally made buses say the models are fraught with safety and design flaws. The union says some drivers have already taken time off for injuries caused by clunky steering, but Metro has denied the claims.
It was hailed as a win for Tasmanian manufacturing. Just 3 months ago, Jeremy Rockcliffe was unveiling the first locally made Metro bus hitting the streets.
This is one of 100 buses, brand new buses that are fully disability compliant.
But the project is now hitting bumps in the road. 7 Tasmania News has been told some drivers are avoiding a full shift in the new models because of health worries.
We've got injuries coming through to our people from steering, which is quite heavy. Some consider it unsuitable for Tasmania and particularly city driving.
Around 23 of the 100 buses have been rolled out. Among the issues highlighted by drivers: heavy steering wheels, poor ergonomics, shaky mirrors, and at night, weak headlights and reflections on the inside windshield, making it hard to see the road.
It's a scenario that our members absolutely do not look forward to each day.
The fleet has come at a cost of $45 million, with buses rolling out of the Wynyard factory at a rate of 1 a fortnight. Metro has categorically denied the claims and in a short statement said the buses were manufactured to rigorously meet Australian standards. Manufacturer Bustech said it was not aware of any issues and was committed to flawless product design and safety outcomes. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
More industrial action is being planned at public schools across Tasmania following unresolved negotiations with the government over pay and conditions. For months, unions and the government have been at loggerheads over the issue as unions demand a pay rise higher than 2%. Half-hour stop work meetings will be held on February the 4th, 2 days before students arrive back to discuss further bans and more industrial action.
Our members feel very unhappy about this. We've put all of our resources and time and energy into trying to fix this problem and get a new agreement before school goes back.
The government says its offer includes better conditions, which would be the equivalent of a 2.5% pay rise. 2 people have faced the Launceston Magistrates Court charged with trafficking methamphetamine. Joshua Brian Smith and Kalisha Jane Hendrick both pleaded not guilty after they were arrested by police at Mayfield in December. Mr Smith also faces 5 charges of unlawful possession of property. The pair, aged 28 and 19, were bailed to face the Launceston Supreme Court on March 18. Nearstar has been forced to shut down its communication systems after it was the subject of a cyber attack overnight. The multinational company with a smelter in Lutana confirmed a number of communication systems, including its email correspondence, were shut down as a precaution. It says the cyber attack has not affected metal processing and mining operations, and it is working on a solution. Tasmania Police is warning drivers to play it safe this long weekend and always be mindful of the 5 major road fatality contributors. Extra police resources will be deployed statewide from Friday to Sunday as part of a major random breath test and speed enforcement operation.
And the message is that don't speed, buckle up, don't drink or drug drive, don't lose your attention by playing with a mobile phone, and if you are tired, pull over and rest.
Over the Christmas-New Year period, there were 5 deaths and 19 serious injuries on our roads, which police are pleading to not see repeated.
Tasmanian race car driver Alex Peroni is preparing for the biggest year of his life, having received several offers to race in the Formula 3 Championship. And with the big announcement just around the bend, today was all about him enjoying himself on an iconic Tasmanian circuit. He's not used to being in the passenger seat.
Feeling all right. I believe in him.
But that didn't last long.
Keep braking, second. Keep in second. 2 hands on the wheel. Yeah.
Back home following a solid round of Formula 3 testing in Abu Dhabi last month, which saw him post top 5 lap times against the world's best young drivers.
Just looking at the timesheets was definitely positive, and the feedback we got from the team and my engineer. Yep. And yeah, soon after we got some offers and stuff, which is always a sign that you're doing the right thing.
Peroni is now close to securing a drive for the 2019 F3 Championship, but can't reveal who with just yet.
All will be announced soon. That's all I can say. You've got to keep it very close to your chest, mate.
Relying heavily on outside backing to fund his high-speed ambitions, the Tasmanian recently received an influx of support from people in his home state keen to join him along the long and difficult journey towards the world of Formula 1 racing.
Yeah, it means a lot, and it kind of shows that together we can do something quite special. Yeah. And obviously there's a lot of people behind what I do.
And despite being touted for big things, the 19-year-old is still all but happy to share his experience with the next crop of young Tasmanian drivers and those who aren't so impressive behind the wheel.
A little bit of a brake, off the brake, and flat. Yes! Now we're getting it.
We're getting red flags?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, keep going, keep going.
Taking us off?
Yeah.
One more?
Yeah.
Sweet. And after surviving the morning in one piece, it's back to business for Peroni as he prepares to shift things up another gear in 2019.
Oh my God. Get him out. Oh.
I still can't believe they trusted me enough to drive him around the track, Joe.
2 hands on the wheel, Tom. That was a good call. 2 hands.
Good evening. A little shower or two overnight. Port Arthur had 5 millimetres, but today no rain recorded over the state. Temperatures down a little too on yesterday. Warmest was 26 in Launceston, Hobart 18, Burnie and Devonport 23 degrees. Friendly Beaches also on 23 today. Strawn and Low Head 22, Grove and the Islands 21, St Helens 20 and Lyawini 18. Cloud gathered over the north today with the remainder of the state mostly cloud free, other than some light cloud over the southeast. A trough and low has the cloud near Western Australia. Upper level disturbance and surface troughs created the cloud over most of the mainland. Thunderstorms are over the top end, and moist onshore winds has the cloud over the southeast of the country. Tomorrow a deep low moves over the Bight and towards our west. A high extends a ridge up the eastern seaboard and the low pressure troughs continue. Northeasterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, although more northerly over the east and more easterly over the north. Winds getting up to 30 knots in the afternoon and evening, but lighter over the west. A gale warning for waters between Sandy Cape and Stanley, a strong wind warning from St Helens Point to Sandy Cape, and for the southeast inshore waters we have a very high fire danger in the upper Derwent Valley. The fires have created a lot of smoke and we'll probably see, smell and taste a bit of it tomorrow. Hobart 27 degrees along with Cygnet, bit of smoke haze for New Norfolk as well, a hot day in 32. Launceston, early smoke, then sunny in the afternoon, 26, 22 for Devonport and mostly sunny for Campbelltown and 28 degrees. Burnie, partly cloudy and 20, 28 for Strawn and 22 for Smithton. And for the eastern areas, mostly sunny, bit of smoke about of course, 22 for St Helens, 25 for Swansea, Fingal 24. UV in the extreme range across the state. On Friday, hot to very hot over the south and east with a few showers extending from the west during the day. Fine on Saturday, apart from an early shower over the west and far northeast, and later for the south. And on Sunday, fine and partly cloudy with a shower over the west. A shower clearing Perth, 23 degrees there. 22 degrees warmer than that in Adelaide tomorrow, heading for 45 degrees. A humid day in Melbourne, cloudy over Sydney, mostly sunny, and 34 in Brisbane. Fine and sunny in Hobart, 17 at the moment. 22 and cloudy over Launceston, cloudy in Devonport too, and 19 degrees. That's all from here, Joe.
All right, thanks so much for that, Murph. And that's all from the news team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.